Hey, welcome back. This is season 2 of Talking Nerdy. Yeah, we've been gone for a little bit. We're excited to be back. This is season 2, episode 1, and the biggest show in a while just dropped. We've actually been talking about this show on this show for quite some time.
Probably about a year.
Yeah, right?
Probably about a year. We've been waiting for this this to be back. And, you know, the show's bigger than ever. Bigger budget than anything Game of Thrones ever did before. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're bigger than ever.
We're bigger than ever. I don't know if you've noticed, but this camera, it's different. That camera, it's different. We're back to multicam, or we're doing multicam setup, trying to switch it up. The set's different. His is all colorful. This one's a little more muted, but it contrasts with each other, and it could change over time and whatnot. And then now we're facing each other, so we can actually have a conversation.
Look in each other's eyes.
Look into each other's eyes.
You know,
get all ASMR like.
Exactly. You know, because I can talk sweet nothings to him and actually look into his face. You know, it's
That's
beautiful.
true.
It's a beautiful moment.
It's a great moment. But we're here to talk about Game of Thrones, specifically House of Dragons. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's weird. Like, is it still called Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay.
It is. Game of Thrones is above it, and it goes Game of Thrones,
House of Dragons.
Yep.
Okay. Which is perfect because it is, so far it's only one episode, but it is a beautiful segue to Game of Thrones.
Yes, it is.
And so I figured we've just started off with a little Game of Thrones.
Since Game of Thrones didn't give us new music.
That's true.
I thought they were going to have an opening.
They don't. Oh, yeah. So we'll talk about that too. But I will say that the person who made that intro music is the same composer who made Game of Thrones. And it had little hints.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah,
no, I know, but it's not like...
Yeah, it's not its own grand thing.
Opening. I thought we were going to have the opening like a showing the places again.
Right.
Like a 3-minute intro.
Oh, it's not on the starting point. Hold on.
Go. You're like from Ocarina of Time. No.
Okay, here we go. All right, so this is our intro with a Game of Thrones soundtrack or a little music box.
Yep.
I'm going to say that's a little harder when you're doing it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I was doing it earlier, a lot.
You were jamming out. You were like speeding through.
I was. It's hard to get the exact rhythm down.
Yeah.
I noticed when I was doing it 100 times.
But Game of Thrones, Season 1 of House of Dragons, they're definitely doing multi-seasons
yes,
of
they
this.
are.
This is such a big show. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, do something with your life. You'll thank us for it. Go watch House of Dragons. Absolutely amazing. And I got to say, I think we both had concerns going into this. You know, are they going to butcher it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, because of the last directors, you know.
Yeah, last season 8 was just a nightmare. I think anybody into Game of Thrones isn't going to count season 8 as part of that show.
Agreed.
Right? But I think the directors of this show did so far, mm-hmm. only one episode.
I mean, yeah, I saw those numbers. It did running over 10 million viewers the first night.
Wow.
10 million, biggest HBO opening ever.
Wow, over Game of Thrones.
Well, Game of Thrones wasn't nearly as big, obviously. But
for the first season?
Series premiere.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. But now everybody knows what Game of Thrones is about, and they want to see it. There's a lot riding on their shoulders to redeem themselves and revive this.
And especially with Lord of the Rings trailer, or Lord of the Rings coming around the corner, too.
Yeah, that'll put some pressure on you.
I'm not so worried anymore.
Ramin Djawadi. Mm-hmm. I'm butchering that name, but that's the composer who did both intros.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. But executive producer in the show is George R.R. Martin. Cool. He's more tied into this than he was in Game of Thrones.
Cool.
Yeah, he was kind of like a consultant in the other one. This one, he's in the weeds of it.
Probably because they butchered it.
Right? He's like, this is my baby. It ain't going to happen again.
No, he really ticked at him.
But so going into it, I did have some concerns. Questions. I was like, are they going to have the shock and awe moments? Are they going to trample all over Game of Thrones in the sense of like they're going to do their own thing and they want it to be a standalone and screw what happened in Game of Thrones? Mm-hmm. And then are the characters going to be as memorable? Because there's some iconic characters. Right?
Yeah. I want to talk about a character later.
And then my other thing was, are you going to mute kind of the essence of Game of Thrones, right? Because now current events have happened. Everybody's a little more sensitized. Is this going to be the same experience we got with Game of Thrones? And I got to say, all the boxes, at least for me, were checked with this episode.
I agree. That episode did everything for me, and more.
Yeah.
I did not want it to stop.
No.
I was kind of ticked. Like, thinking about Game of Thrones episode 1. I know we compare it a lot because, whatever.
Sure.
But the Game of Thrones episode 1, season 1, it was not nearly this good.
No, there was a lot more story building in season 1, episode 1.
I think episode 2 is going to have the story building. I think 1 was just to show you where they're at.
Yeah.
With everything.
And so I think that maybe why it ties into what you said a moment ago, why it didn't have an intro. Because I was waiting for it. I wanted to see what it was all about. Like, I was like, oh, what cool intro. Are they going to build upon it each episode? And there was nothing.
No.
It was that message clearly, just in case you were confused, letting you know that this is about the Targaryen dynasty
that's
set 172 years before the Mad King.
Yep.
And that's it. And then it goes right into the show. And so maybe because it's like, hey, we're coming back. Let's get you back into the swing of things. Let's show you what we're going to be about with this banger of an episode. And then maybe episode 2 will have an intro.
Yeah, but just by saying with that, I mean, maybe they don't want to be the same.
True. Maybe
they want to have their own identity. That was really good for Game of Thrones, and that's not good for them. So I think,
Yeah, we might not get one.
And which is fine because they don't want to be the same. They want to be associated, but not the same.
I get that.
Yeah, they don't want to copycat it.
No, that definitely makes sense. Which it kind of is an artistic choice in its own.
Yep.
And I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Man, what about the cast? Like, what'd you think of this lineup of crew?
So I knew the Prince Viserys looked very familiar, and after looking at it, I was like, oh, he's from A Knight's Tale, walking naked down the street.
No.
Isn't that him?
No.
Are you sure that's not him?
I know who you're talking about.
That's not him?
No.
I thought that was him.
But A Knight's Tale, it's got you're talking about the albino guy who becomes a scribe.
Isn't that him?
No.
Dang it. I thought it was him.
I feel really bad for not knowing that actor's name. Paul Bettany is the scribe in A Knight's Tale.
Who am I?
And are you thinking
I'm thinking he's in some.
Are you thinking of Otto?
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about no.
Well, so Otto in this show looks fairly close, but he's an actor. He's in other stuff. So like Otto is in. Here, I'll pull up his page. Not Otto.
Head Start 2.0. There he is. Always trying to be right.
Right.
I thought that what he was.
Rhys Ifans is the actor's name.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's in the Amazing Spider-Man.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
The weird.
Yep.
Snowden, Anonymous. He's in more than just this, but yeah, he's a good actor.
Paddy Considine. Yeah, but anyways,
and then Matt Smith, who plays Daemon Targaryen, is the actor who is in Doctor Who. Everybody will recognize him from that if they're Doctor Who fans. Yeah, so he's a really good actor, and I gotta say, I don't know who your favorite character is right off the bat, but mine's Daemon.
So, I usually don't like the bad guys.
Is he though?
Yeah, he's gonna be the bad guy.
Oh, see, I do want to talk about that.
Okay, he is just a BA. Obviously, doesn't care about anything. He does, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And his outfit when he was dueling
was pretty cool.
That was probably the coolest Game of Thrones outfit I've seen.
The armor,
and then the red like feathers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so specifically at that point, all right. So going into it, I was like, he's a loose cannon, maybe like sociopath, maybe doing good or maybe doing bad for good reasons. I was trying to figure him out because he looks like he's got a lot of layers. So that battle scene though made me think maybe he's not a sociopath. Maybe he's not just like ego and just like almost like the Joker where I'm just gonna kill, no conscience. And the reason for it is because when he gets defeated,
he gives up.
He accepts it. And it immediately cuts to the Dorne guy as he's walking away from Daemon, and he goes up to ask for a favor or whatever they're asking for from the princesses. And when me and Tiff were watching that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a close up on the Dorn guy. I was like, just expect like a blade to slice his head off.
Yeah, I thought when he turned his back, I was like, oh, it's over for him.
Yeah,
it's over.
And it didn't happen. He accepted defeat because I think he was just like excited for the game of it, the sport of it. So since they didn't have him kill him, like it's not an ego thing. It's not like just a blood sport, you know.
You think he's a good guy?
I think he's a good guy doing bad things.
I don't think he's a good guy.
Like
I loved him. Don't trust me. I loved him. He's my favorite character.
Right?
But I don't think he's a good guy.
Well, and so I teeter with it because obviously he wants the throne. There was that beautiful shot of him sitting on the Iron Throne when he was first introduced, and he said something about like one day this will be my seat or throne. And in his head, he knows that he's the next heir because Varys won. Not Varys, Khaleesi's brother.
Yep.
Right? So they repeat a lot of names, but the original Varys king, he knows that he can't bear children. He can't bear like a male child. And so in his head, he knows he's going to be king. And the twist that maybe I'm eating my words is he doesn't find that, he doesn't find out his shocking truth until the end of this episode. When he's right. So episode 2 might completely change how I feel about Daemon, but I feel like he's going to go back and forth between is he doing good things or is he doing bad things for good, or is he just doing bad things because he's been wronged in his head?
I think he's a loose cannon still.
I think no matter what, he's going to be a loose cannon.
But he's a controlled loose cannon. That doesn't make sense.
I think he thinks he has values and morals, but he's also just like a relentless killer.
He reminded me of like a little bit Jaime Lannister a little bit, but not as bad.
A little bit.
Like he knew he was a really good sword fighter. He did technically beat that guy, but he started showboating.
You know what he actually reminded me of? This might sound, I don't know, this might sound bad, but so Tyrion from Game of Thrones, the outcasted son, I think this character would be Tyrion if he was taller and a better swordsman.
Genius.
Okay, yeah, Tyrion's really smart. But maybe this guy's smart in different ways, right? And so I kind of get like that vibe. Like he's the black sheep. He still believes in the family and the power and whatnot, but he just is going to work outside of the box to make things happen.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a very interesting character. I think he's everyone's favorite, but least favorite at the same time. Right. Not least favorite.
You love to hate him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people hate him. He looked really cool though.
Super cool.
Everything about him was really cool.
And he's got one of those faces where it's just like, you could be a serial killer.
Yeah, definitely.
You could kill somebody with a smile on your face.
When you saw him in the previews and everything, and we watched him, like, yeah, he's bad.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I'm leaning towards.
Yep.
But yeah, everything about him is really cool.
Super cool. I love the guy.
Super cool dragon. Super cool.
How weird is it to see dragons just as pets? Like they're in the background.
Yeah.
It's almost like, hey Fido, I'm just petting you on my way home and whatever. Like they're not, people don't fear them. They're not as of yet used for power, but
they are used to power.
They are used for power. They have 10 of them and they are used to sustain power. But in the Game of Thrones show, they talked about, a couple hundred years back, there was the Battle of the Dragons. And I think that's where this show's going to lead up to.
100% think that's where this show's going. I think obviously the house is going to be divided to 3 houses, I think.
Who do you think? Oh, between the Queen Who Never Was.
Queen Who Never Was, Rhaenyra, and
Daemon. Yeah.
But I also think there's going to be more kids involved because if you looked at the cast, I don't know if you looked at the cast yet. Have you looked at the cast?
Oh, you mean the
cast for this season? They show a young Rhaenyra and an older Rhaenyra. So they're going to jump forward years here soon.
Okay, I see the young Rhaenyra. Who's playing?
There's an old Rhaenyra and then there's a young... What is it? There's young Alicent Hightower and an old Alicent Hightower, or Alice, whatever you want to call her.
So there's Millie Alcock, which I think is who we're watching right now.
Yep, and she's gonna be gone here soon.
And then there's Emma Darcy, who's okay.
So I think they're gonna fast forward, and I eventually think we're gonna see some deaths at the end of season 1.
Oh, yeah, you got it, dude. Okay, so the shock and awe moment, it was hard for me to watch.
The birth was
The
disgusting. Like okay, it's a beautiful thing. I understand that, but when you bring a knife in there and you know someone's dying,
How cruel is that? So Viserys, right? He holds this big tournament. All the lords and stuff, ladies are coming to this town. He wants to announce the birth of his son. He knows his wife is carrying a son, and he wants to announce it at this grand tournament. He wants a son so bad that his wife, what's up?
So he actually cared for his wife.
He did
the whole time, which is very anything we've seen in Game of Thrones.
Right.
House of Dragon. They don't usually care for their wife. Even Ned Stark didn't care for his wife like that.
Right. To be by her bedside and all that stuff.
This is different. So for him to actually sacrifice her, pretty much,
it meant a lot to him.
Yeah, it did. But he wanted a son more than that. It was like
just the most gut-wrenching scene ever, and this is what I wanted those like shock and awe moments. I got it. I don't know if I could handle it. Like when the scene was over, I was glad it was over.
It's like when you watch the first season or first show, it's gonna be hard not to relate to that show, but
right.
And then you see like when they were, what was the one part in the shock and awe one, the red
sure
the
red
scenes
was one.
that were very graphic, we'll say, girl on girl guy, you know, all those ones.
Oh, right.
When you didn't want to watch it, you're like, dang it, I might have missed some plot points. There was one particularly.
Hey, whatever you got to tell yourself to get through this.
When they were shaving, yeah, and then is there something important coming out? And I was like, if I have to rewatch it again, I will not.
Oh, you're talking about the two boys when he's getting shaved?
Yep,
yeah, the dialogue in that. Yeah,
I had to watch it. I know.
Yeah.
Teach their own. But
each their own.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to watch this. It was making me cringe.
Right.
You too?
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
That ain't my cup of tea.
No.
And this one still included that kind of stuff. But I got to say a lot of scenes were dark. So whenever they had to show that kind of stuff, instead of it being brightly lit, like here you go, here's what's going on, it was dark, kind of hard to see stuff. And when I love Damon putting on the gold capes and stuff.
They look so cool.
Because it's the start of the City Watch, and obviously fast forward, that's what Jamie and his boys are in.
So cool.
They look so cool.
Did you ever play Age of Empires?
I think briefly PC.
Oh man, they had like certain like gold cloaks, man. Guys look like that. They had one side covered. Just looks so cool.
It does look cool.
Gosh.
And that whole scene when they when he says, "Hey, we're gonna take care of all the all the bad people in town." It was shot so dark that it was a flashback to that battle scene in season 8 where I was just like, what's going on? I can't see.
Yeah,
and
in them lights.
Yeah, dude. But it was cool. There was a lot of tie-ins to Game of Thrones.
There was
a lot of tie-ins.
A lot of I mean, nothing. I don't think there was a couple points that actually might have mattered.
Right.
But yeah, there was a whole bunch.
They pretty much talk about the rise and fall of Daenerys. I don't know if you heard that when Viserys is talking to Rhaenys. Oh my gosh, Rhaenyra. Yeah, that's you can comment down below. I don't care. Lucas is probably going to. That name is hard, but I think it's like Rhaenyra or whatever.
Lucas's next kid's name.
Rhaenyra. But yeah, when Daenerys is talking to Rhaenyra, when he's telling her she's going to be queen and stuff, he talks about I don't know. I forgot. I'm not going to quote it because I'm drawing a blank. But if you rewatch it, he is talking about Daenerys in there, how like a Targaryen will rise of power and then fall and whatnot. And it was all Daenerys. And then he even says that his dream was a book of fire and ice.
Yeah.
Or a song of fire and ice.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's what Game of Thrones was called.
Yep.
Yeah. You get to see a Stark in this one.
You do get to see a Stark. Yep.
You get to see some Baratheons.
You got to see a Baratheon.
You called it, actually, when we were watching the trailer.
I said there would be some.
Yeah.
And there was a Tarly. You see the Tarly?
I heard the name used.
There's a Tarly. You'd think some would, not all.
Right.
So obviously they come and rise in power, rise and fall in power.
Yeah, we got all the main houses here.
Greyjoy.
Lannisters.
Lannister's not here yet.
Starks were. Yeah, Lannisters weren't, and I'm excited to see them. We got Baratheons, and then you have the Targaryens under yours.
Did, side note here, was there incest involved in this?
Not in this one.
Are you sure?
Well, the creation of...
Targaryen.
Wait a minute. So the girl that looks like Khaleesi so much, Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And Daemon, they had a weird little connection at the beginning.
Oh, you caught that, right?
Yeah, And
he shows up and she asks like if father knows he's here yet, and when they say no, she says good. So, are they plotting against her father, or do they have something going on?
She seems pure right now, but I do think they have something going on because they keep the bloodline pure. We know
keep the bloodline pure.
So,
but she also kind of had that little fling with the girl.
I think she just does whatever.
Otto's daughter?
Yeah, Otto's daughter.
How wrong was that, dude? That part with Otto sending off his daughter to console the king.
Well, I mean, think about it.
Out his daughter.
That's been done before.
No, it's been done before
100 times.
Yeah, and it's the first time in this episode you actually get to see the Game of Thrones played
and how they do it.
Yes, right? Because there wasn't a whole lot of politics. There was a lot of counseling, but this is the first time you saw somebody being sneaky and taking a shot at the throne.
Yep.
Right?
Because if she had a son, that'd be his
bloodline.
His bloodline.
Yeah.
He's safe.
Exactly. And Damon even calls him out, says Otto sees any opportunity or whatever for the throne, whatever.
Yep.
And foreshadowing, you get to see that.
He's like Ned Stark, but with a plan.
You think so? Is that what they're calling Otto? Is Ned Stark?
2.0.
Okay.
It should be 1.0. I did want to touch on one thing.
So he's going to lose his head.
Yep, he's dead. We did want to touch on one thing. I would think, so this happened like 172 years prior to Daenerys.
Correct.
I would think King's Landing would be a little bit different.
Looked more or less the same. Yeah.
Yes. But 200 years. I'm not saying that the United States is good, but...
Except for a couple things were different.
A couple things were different, but not a lot.
So...
The Red Cloaks looked a lot cooler.
Yeah. But down in the vaults or whatever, I don't really want to call them dungeons, but in Game of Thrones, they had dragon heads, skulls. In this one, it was empty because the dragons haven't died yet.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
Yep. Except for that one.
The huge one.
Yeah, the huge one that got to see Valeria.
Viserys?
Viserys is the king.
Yeah.
But Valeria, where they were from, where the Targaryens originated from. They talk about the fall of that area, and that's why Valerian steel is so important, because when that town or island, whatever they were from, fell because of dragons, so did the knowledge of forging Valerian steel and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of information thrown into this episode, and it's one I had to have the subtitles on, because while they weren't talking really fast, there was like subtle things in there.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think you have to watch it twice. Once with, once without.
I watched it twice with subtitles both times.
Both times?
Yeah.
You catch it? You catch more? You can't watch them without now, can you?
No, I can't watch them without. I want to watch and I want to read at the same time, just because now it's another element of details that I don't want to miss. Did you notice Rhaenyra? So it's 172 years prior to the Mad King. So they're a lot closer. I think they're like 100 years after the fall of Valeria.
100 years, 109, I think, roughly.
Right. So she's a lot closer to the Valerian or Valeria roots. The way she said Dracarys was, she was like rolling her R's. Yeah. It was a lot more like
natural.
Yeah, there's a lot of an accent in there, versus when Khaleesi says it, she says a very white girl, like, I just got a pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah.
Dracarys. When she said, it was like Dracarys. I can't even do it, but
I was like, white girl with a pumpkin spice latte.
I was like, oh, that's good attention to detail, because she is closer to the roots, and so the way she would say things is going to be different and stuff like that. And yeah, sad moment when she had to use that word.
Yes,
the wife and the baby.
Yep.
Gosh.
Yep. And then Viserys is like, oh, now you're my choice over my psycho brother, who's they just don't trust him.
They don't trust him yet. Yeah.
Even his brother doesn't trust him.
Well, when your brother calls your unborn son, or your son that just died, king for a day or something like that, and then has a party to celebrate his death, it's like, you are going. And they tied in, so Daemon maybe lives or used to live in the Vale.
Yeah. That's where his wife's from, I think.
Yeah. I wonder if that is like...
I mean, you remember the Vale, right?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the mom and the son?
The son, how he's still nursing.
How creepy that was?
That was awkward. So awkward.
So no wonder he doesn't want to go back to the Vale.
But I wonder if maybe his wife is grandma to the Lady of the Vale.
Could be.
Right? Which would tie him into the Starks, I think.
another couple bloodline. I mean, couple
Probably.
down.
I mean, kings rise and fall and
Yeah.
get overtaken. So I might be stretching it there. Yeah. Well, is there anything?
Anything specific?
Yeah.
It was just a solid debut, I think.
Really was.
There wasn't the only. I would think that the couple. One thing I didn't like was the. I mean, I thought the jousting thing was really cool.
That was super cool.
I thought how they had it set up and everything was super cool.
There was that scene where the camera was panning with the dude riding the horse as he got jousted, so it's whipping really fast. You're watching the rider. He gets hit and just freaking flies out of frame, and
I don't understand jousting, so maybe I'm just but throwing your thing into the ground and knocking the horse down, that seems like cheating.
Seems like cheating.
But how hard would that be?
Well, yeah, because your spear is the same length as the other guy's
But you have to stop a horse running, pretty much going almost, I don't know how fast.
But trip him.
You have to stab the ground.
True. But
how much strength do you think that would take?
Think if you're running, though, and anything's in your way, like if you hit it, you're going to fumble and trip.
Depending on if it's
the
ground.
He definitely jabbed the ground, but I think anything in front of that horse. But
I just thought it was super strength.
But at the same time, like those, so your joust, whatever the thing's called, is the same length as the guy coming at you. So if you can reach the ground in front of the horse, by then that guy's already made contact with you, right? For the horse to make contact, I feel like it's like seconds or like a half a second away.
Yeah, I agree.
So you hold yours down, you're getting pelted, and I feel like both guys would end up falling off the horses.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's fearless.
He is definitely fearless. He's gonna be the fun character to watch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to Lord Corlys Valerian. He's gonna be a big role.
Lord what?
Corlys Valerian.
You think so?
I do.
Husband to the wait, that's not the husband, is it?
Yeah. To the queen that almost was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's him. He's gonna have a big role, I think.
Picture I'm looking at, he doesn't have his dreads in.
Oh no, I think he's gonna, because if you look at his nickname, the Sea Snake. You got to control the seas.
Right.
He's gonna have a big. It's gonna be some. I think he's gonna have a big role on his side of it with the big. I think he's gonna have a big army, a navy, not army.
Could be
Navy.
Yeah.
And I think just
so
him.
his people come from across the sea where the Dothraki are.
No, I don't think. Well, is that what it says?
No, but if you're talking about the seas, like.
Well, the sea's pretty big.
It's true, but King's Landing faces that side.
That is true.
Right. So King's Landing is.
You look how small Westeros is compared to like.
Right here.
Look at that compared to everything else.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty. This section is pretty massive.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not. We don't see bigger.
Well, you got the north wall, right, and then the north. So Winterfell's right here.
Yep.
So that is a long trek. Whenever Ned needed to go down here to King's Landing.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and then the Dorne are right here. So that one gentleman who didn't have royalty, the fighter, the jouster.
Yeah.
Right. He was just a freelance or whatever. But yeah, so he would have had to have traveled up. And then
Sir Kristen Cole,
I think so. Is that his name?
common-born son of the steward of Lord of Blackhaven.
Yep. This is that guy, which Rhaenyra has a little crush on. So I'm sure Daddy doesn't like that.
Crush on everyone.
Oh yeah, she's just a little flirt.
She's like her brother, her friend,
cousin. Yeah.
No, I think that's our uncle.
Or sorry, uncle. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Uncle Damon.
Uncle Damon.
But
Uncle D.
No, it was a really good show, really good start. I can't wait for next week. I love that we have a week off to think about it and talk about it. Rewatch it. You've already watched it twice?
Yeah.
You're a freaking nerd.
I know. I loved it. Really loved it.
Yeah.
Really need to watch it. Just it's not stomping on toes. If anything, it's just paying homage to Game of Thrones.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Any predictions? I mean, we kind of set them in between.
Predictions. I think we'll get to see the Battle of the Dragons towards the end.
Yep.
I do think we'll get to see more houses that we recognize.
Okay.
I do think the way this episode ended, it set it up for Viserys to die soon.
Viserys is definitely going to die soon. Talking about the heir, and then they really push the heir at the end, kind of pushing Daemon and Rhaenyra against each other a little bit when there are, it seems like almost best friends.
Right.
First people they see. I mean, first person he goes to see. I mean, kind of.
He has that moment when she's about to use her dragon to burn her mother and unborn brother, or he's like standing behind her and he's just like, "Hey, your father really needs you right now. You know, you need to be by his side, whatever." And it's like it seems like a very sweet, sincere moment. But in that same moment, he also thinks he's about to be king. So I think what he's really meaning is like your father's going to need you because he's about to be dethroned, right?
That could be true too.
Yeah, it's so hard to read him.
He is. Yeah. Maybe he's a lot smarter than we know.
Could be. Well, like Loki, he's the brother that nobody believes in and wants to deal with, and he's super smart.
That is true.
Deals in the shadows.
But they also did bring up that that rebel squad a couple times, forming up the rebellion.
What?
The arc, the rebellion forming up on the. I think in the north. I don't remember if it's north or south, but they said the rebellion is starting.
Oh, I got you. When the council's talking and they need to go squash. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
With 10 adult dragon, or I think they had 10 adult dragons.
So right? Targaryens have 10 adult dragons.
I think they could squash that pretty dang quick.
Yeah.
Because they don't have those those crossbows yet.
Nope.
Those were brand new in the other show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
So really nothing can take down the dragons at this point other than other dragons, I would think.
Yeah. So you could really stomp a rebellion pretty easy.
Yeah, just set fire to their siege.
Day's ride.
Yep.
But is it better be feared
and
or
I
loved?
think where they were pointing at was down...
Next to Dorne?
I think so.
Because no one's crossed the sea, remember?
Right. So
the Dothrakis crossed the sea.
No, yeah, they don't cross the sea, but I think this chain of islands is what they were talking about.
That'd be tough.
Right? Yeah, the stepstones. Yeah. And so, because they were talking about ships and stuff like that down there. Yeah, so I think, and King's Landing's here, so I think they're going to have to go down and take care of that at some point. Yeah, so we're pumped. We're excited for the next episode. I'm excited for this show. I think it's going to be multi-seasons.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
New direction. Actually, before we go, I will say, did you notice that it felt different the way they were shooting this show? So like Game of Thrones, everything was kind of close up, raw emotions as people were talking. The shots were just really close up for some reason. And then this one, it's a lot of like backed up shots. Like it wants you to see the character and the surroundings.
I did not notice that. You think they want to do more visual stuff?
I think maybe it was just a like an artistic decision to just separate how the viewer is watching the show.
Okay, I did not notice that.
Yeah, it felt like it's obviously the same thing, but it just felt different because of it. I don't know.
No, yeah, it was a fantastic show. What would you give it out of 10? First episode,
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Because it way exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, well, we had low ones.
We had
very low, which is good.
Yeah,
because we only go up. Me, I'm probably an 8.5.
8.5. You really liked it.
I really liked it. Made me want to watch more.
Yeah.
And if I'm comparing it to the last one, which I don't want to, I'm going to stop comparing it sooner. First episode, I have to compare. But
yeah,
it was very good.
Once I knew the direction they were going with season 8, because you're watching it, episode. How many episodes were there in season 8? 6.
Yeah.
So episode 4, you're like, okay, like when's it gonna happen? And then when you see like stuff start to happen in season 5, you quickly realize how much is gonna get cut out, and it's just like, well, let's just wrap this up. Let's get it over with.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, great show. Check it out. House of Dragon, HBO. You need to watch it. It's amazing.
Have to.
Let us know what you think. Yep. And let us know what you think about the set. How does it feel different? Do you like this new approach? We're just gonna keep tweaking it, working on it over time.
Yeah, we got some new things coming on the backside of this too, but we haven't released yet. We will get to those in near future. They're not done yet, so we don't want to get too excited about them. But
yeah,
a lot of stuff coming into after stuff. New people involved with us. New things. We're just gonna change for the better, and it's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool. I love the setup so far. I mean, come on, come on.
World of Warcraft Alliance.
Heck yeah,
yeah, buddy. The Stormtrooper's kind of in the shot, not really, but we got our Stormtrooper mascot here.
Yeah, we got some new episodes coming out. Should be dropping very quickly.
Yes. Oh, and just a little teaser, just in case you didn't know, but 2022 Packy One Chip Challenge has dropped.
They have, and they already purchased and received.
So look out for that video, because we're going to melt our faces off for you once more. We love you guys. Thanks for talking nerdy. We'll see you in the next episode.
Peace. It's hot in here.
It's so hot. I'm melting.